Okay, family. Let me see. I might have to pipe it down just a bit and put my feet up like the goddesses do in ancient Kemet. One thing I noticed is that there's my book. The gods and goddesses barely let their feet touch the ground when they sit down. And they always have their ankh, and it's facing forward. And if you look at them, it looks like they're sitting on a vehicle, something that could take off, something that looks totally cosmic in view. I suggest you start pulling out some of the ancient Kemetic artwork and start meditating on the beautifulness, the artwork. They're actually meditation pieces. You're actually supposed to gaze into it and let the mind do what it does and, do some writing or whatever it is you need to do, but try to start getting acquainted to our ancient Kemetic symbols, language, whatever you can get your hands on. Now's the time. Let us pray. We speak in the ancient language as everyone else utilizes their language for different reasons. Okay. And I'm utilizing it for my reason in this language, Meduneter, for spiritual alignment and protection. Dua Ma'at, Hekau and Seshat, Sa Ankh, Uja Seneb, Eb and Remet. Praise to translating. Praise to the sacred
and wellness. The goddess. Well, the goddesses and the gods and the pharaohs, they were the teachers. And Kemeticism is not just a religion, it is the first so called religion. That word came even afterwards because it is an actual literal science. Kemeticism is a science. The Osirian rites are esoteric, heavenly sciences that actually come from heavenly places. And tonight, we're going to talk about why, or perhaps could this be a philosophy of why so many foundational Black Americans struggle to embrace the ancient Egyptian culture because they say they're not African, they're not Egyptian, and But the science of Kemeticism literally was brought here for humanity, number one. Okay. And we're going to get into some of the meat of an issue, because it is an issue, as it literally is knowledge and wisdom that needs to be had by the FBA people. Okay. The missing link to the success of the FBAs actually lies in the hands of Ma'at, whether they want to believe it or not. How much success or failure do you want to see? Because it is not a debate, it is a command, pretty much. If you knew what the content of Ma'at was, perhaps you wouldn't say the things you say or have the poor perspective that I hear so many project, starting with the Hoteppers and the no-teppers, and oh, here come one of the Hoteppers and this and that and the other. Just a bunch of judgment, just like any other positive thing that anyone would want to cling on to. There are those that always shun it, and it's always those that don't even have the proper information to make a proper judgment. So let me just, I have everything in my notes because I took extensive notes, and I even had thoughts, and it turned into a tree and it grew branches, and it just had me thinking, because it started off with the foundational Black Americans really embracing Christianity. That, to someone like me who has embraced the knowledge and continue to do so, always a student. Another thing, there will be not too much mastery going on, because in this science, you're always a student. And the main thing you would have to do is to train your own ego to even know that you don't know it all, and you do still need to learn. And there are others that came to teach. And there are others that came to repress and oppress you from that information. Plain and simple. There were some that woke up with the notion, I can't let them get that information. And so they went on a quest, and that's what they did. But fast forward, we're here in 2025 now. It's our responsibility. We have the knowledge. We know we were oppressed and repressed and everything else, told not to read, uh, every single thing that you could do to oppress a person from knowing themselves, robbed of your language, stripped of your names, your culture, your music, and your gods and your goddesses, right? For generations before you. So it's not your fault. But I'm sure if you live in America and you are an FBA, you have heard of the science of the ancient Egyptians, ancient Kemet, uh, which is in Africa. Okay, let's get to the notes because I don't want to sidetrack, but I'm just giving a introduction, so to speak. And I actually have an introduction for us. Peace and balance, family. I want to stick to protocol here tonight, right? Welcome to another powerful episode of the Seshat Heka show. The goddess Seshat is the great recorder, the divine writer. She's actually the daughter of Ma'at, keeping every single dot and tittle of the book of life of us all. Every single thing recorded. Okay. The daughter of Ma'at. Ma'at is the goddess of everything we need to achieve on this life. Right? Stick to protocol, stick to protocol, stick to protocol. And we say, right? Okay. This is Seshat Heka Ma'at show where ancient wisdom meets the modern world. I'm your host, Tonya 23, bringing truth and clarity to the questions so many avoid. Tonight, we're asking one of the most important and controversial questions. Why can't or why do foundational Black Americans have so much problems or struggles embracing their culture of ancient Egypt, into which, through the conscious community teachings, link African Americans as Egypt being a melting pot from all places in Africa, especially West, Kush, and Nubia, that we hold that DNA. Many of us do. As a matter of fact, my best friend, and I won't divulge her name, she is a foundational Black American. She was born and raised here, both parents, but her grandparents are from Egypt, ancient Kemet. Her mother's mother and father, their lineage has always been there. They left there and came to America. I cracked the freaking code. I finally found a foundational African American whose blood grandparents, both of them, and I actually have met an extensive number of her family. Okay. I've been trying to get her to do this podcast, but she's reluctant for some reason. Her father is a Christian pastor. But that's on the other side of her family. It's her mother's mother and father and grandparents and so on who remained in ancient Kemet. Actually, one of them just passed last year in Egypt and are buried there. So all of her lineage, her family is there. And she has a younger cousin that I met, a girl cousin. And she's fair-skinned, but she is Black. And she looks like how they depict Cleopatra, all set, Isis. She had that look, the Mediterranean sort of African loose curly hair. But my best friend looks just like me. I could actually pull up a picture of us together, but like I said, her privacy is her privacy. If Ra's wisdom would lead her to reveal herself, it is great. I'm also trying to get her to do the DNA because it's there. But we do have linkage. That is just one of many. Okay. There was a great African population that still remains in ancient Kemet. Okay. Which is why we ask you to not shun getting your DNA done, because it doesn't have to say Egypt. Egypt is a melting pot. There are some that originate there. It will show probably Egypt, but it would show Kush, Nubia, any parts of Africa actually, except for like the outskirts. If you go into like, Tanzania, Kenya, different places like that, most likely that's that region, but the haplogroup of African Americans, the African countries that they like to say frequents our DNA when we get it done, reflects those outer countries that surround, that area. So through migration, it's possible. Either way, the science was brought to that part of Africa so that it could flourish as it did for a reason, to show humanity, because we wouldn't even have all of the sciences without ancient Egypt. That is your math, number one. That is your chemistry, number one. No, it's not just CHEM. At first it was KHEM. You see the trickery in your spelling? Yeah, it's convoluted, but if there's a play on words, that's it. Spelling. English language is a spelling because they took stuff from everywhere except their own creativity. That language, right? And every single language stems from the hieroglyphs. Every single religion stems from sun worship. Okay. I have to stick to, okay? Stick to the program. All right. Why is it that when we say Kemet, Ma'at, Ra, or Serket, or Sekmet, or Het Heru, we're met with resistance? And why do so many of our own reject the ancient knowledge that could liberate us spiritually? Did you hear that? Where's my little thingamabob? I have to borrow this. Just a moment. So I have to make some sort of noises. I'm not playing any music because YouTube keeps coming up with some copyright thing, when even on my original beat I had to prove it was mine or whatever. So we're not going to let this podcast get interrupted with that. Okay. So why do so many of our own reject the ancient knowledge that could liberate us spiritually? And even in my studies, I have seen it. I have been liberated spiritually, but I see where it could liberate our people spiritually, right? Economically, number two, I've witnessed that. And psychologically, number three, I've witnessed that to an extensive level. All three of these categories, to an extensive level, my life has been regenerated, let's just say, because changed isn't a word that describes it enough. Um, the religious disconnect, let's start there. Many foundational Black Americans were raised in Christian households, as we know. Ancient Egypt is often demonized in religious spaces, called pagan, even satanic, or idol worship. Go figure. Idol worship? The sun is not an idol, people. It is your life sustaining breath and everything. If it doesn't come up, you won't be up that long. Let's see. And to call it satanic when we know that how the Bible is used and is justified, to call someone else's beliefs, which are the origin of your own, because a lot of things in the Bible were taken from the great temple walls, even the book of coming forth by day, in which they called the book of the dead. Of course, it's the book of the living, but that is the oppression that was put on it, after the knowledge was being used. It's like, I'm going over here and I'm going to use this for myself, and I'm going to come over here and give you the trick knowledge. There's no way other to describe it. That's what happened. I can accept it. What is the problem with the unity in accepting it? So that we can actually get into what they were teaching. So we don't have to keep trying to prove, oh, this is that, this is that. Let's just, what did they teach? Are their morals on a higher level? Can they make us a better people? I challenge you to even give it a try. What do they do? Were they just sitting there looking beautiful as ever? Posing like they're writing things, drawing these little characters all over everything? But have you stopped to once try to see what it meant? Okay. Stick to the script. But these are the things that you go through being a youngster here, foundational Black American. You are forced, because in your household, if your family is a Christian, you are forced to do those things. I saw it, and I actually did it to my kids for a spell, but not anymore. And everyone is on a higher level. Not forcing it onto anyone, because it was a process. It was a shocker. I became the black sheep to break out of the crab barrel, so to speak. I got to take my time with this, because it's a lot. It's a whole lot when you're dealing with your spiritual and your economic and your psychological well-being. You better take your time with it. Okay. So hugely the miseducation that till this day, plays a major role. Egypt is presented as foreign, as if it's its own continent or something, and not that it is in Africa. It's not on the outskirts, connected. It's plugged in. It's tapped in. Even the Bible references Egypt as a place of bondage, reinforcing fear instead of curiosity. But that was forged, because everything that I study, those people had no time to be in bondage. They were learning how to. All of your theurgy and your seminary practices, especially in that Catholic church, has been directly taken from Egypt, ancient Kemet. Okay. Even when they wanted to call it Coptic, cryptic Coptic Christianity, no. They had their own science that was based on nature and the universe observation. Books. In the chat, I will write the first book that I recommend on your journey is The Kemetic Tree of Life, which you can get on Amazon. Sorry, y'all. By Dr. Ashby. Muta Ashby. Check that out. I actually invested in my own spiritual knowledge because I'm understanding myself as a physical being having a spiritual being having a physical experience. That is so very true. If you knew my spiritual sciences, your spiritual sciences are what we would call numerology. One way is numerology. It is the science of using your birth numbers to give you a snapshot, an esoteric look at your overall personality and characteristics and whatnot. I find them to be maybe not so spot on because you have to have your time of birth. If it's your time of birth, they're pretty spot on, but they come in segments in different parts of your life and you have to kind of connect the dots. But it's been very, very, very helpful, more so than some of the religious practices, the blindly praying, and it's kind of like the lottery type thing. You pray and you might hit, but you might not, type of thing. And I literally can tell you that process is supposed to be spot on each time. There's not supposed to be anything called an unanswered prayer. I don't know what that is. We don't have that in Kemetic spirituality. We get what it is that we need because we put in the work and we manifest it. So even the Bible references Egypt as a place of bondage when it's just the opposite, reinforcing fear instead of curiosity. I see a lot of groups out there are gearing up to actually go to Egypt as if it's not, sitting in the middle of a war zone at this time, but that's not our concern. We're going and everything's going to be just fine. What if I told you the church has more in common with Kemet than you would ever think? The priesthood came from Kemet, just the notion of thinking to have a priesthood, or if you will, or like part of one, you're following ancient Kemetic culture. Incense. If you've ever burned an incense, I have. Whoop, where's my incense? Don't know where my incense went, but I had one. Maybe it went out. Incense. They're from ancient Kemet. I mean, they brought them, they created them, and spread all over the world mysteriously. And that is utterly just being a joke. I'm just being a little smart self right now. It definitely wasn't mysteriously how other people got the teachings of ancient Kemet on the planet as well. Um, that's another story for another time. We're dealing strictly with the basics today. Um, yeah. Robes. Do you have a robe? Ancient Kemet. Uh, do you do rituals? You celebrate holidays and different things like that? You look at a calendar, you write on paper and things like that. All ancient Kemet. Okay. Um, all of these has its origins in the Nile Valley spirituality family. Most of the things you do originated there, incredibly and literally so. Let's move on. The psychological warfare and whitewashing. Listen, Egypt has been falsely racialized as non-black for decades in media and textbooks. I just now told you my best friend, her grandparents are from Egypt, and that means her lineage on that side. Okay. It is just her mother that came over here to America. Her father, actually. And that's how they got here. It would still have been in Egypt. Yeah. I know. It's shocking. I know you probably have not heard that. But yeah, there are many foundational Black Americans that are from actually Egypt, ancient Kemet, and not by way of marriage. That was where they were from. Um, Egypt, yeah, we got that part, and how the falsely racialized is non-black. Why is that? Why does anyone out there? I challenge you to put participate in the chat and let me know, why do you think that would be? How come the people were not depicted as they actually were in media and in textbooks? Remember, even in my young days, I got to see Elizabeth Taylor playing uh who did she play? I believe it was Cleopatra. I knew something was wrong with that. I was like, Daddy, why is she playing the African woman? Why is she playing the Egyptian woman? I was actually mad as a little girl. I was pissed. Because I knew that it was anything but representing what I looked like. I realized that as a kid. Now, in the media, in textbooks, why did they not want to teach? But did they think that we would get a hold of the information over here? Was it all a plot just so that we didn't get a hold of the information? Remember, we were given this created Bible directly. We were given here, you all, you're going to get this. Why was it such a plot and scheme to give the particular that book and then say you're forbidden to read any other book? Could it be they were trying to hide this information instead of just the average oppression? Because remember, Memphis got its name from Egypt. The first Memphis was in Egypt. Atlanta got its name from the great Atlanteans, which we know as they call him Thoth. In Europe, they call him Thoth, but we call him Lord Tahuti. He's actually the Lord that you're talking about in your Bible. That traced all the way back to in the beginning. let us make man. That's on another part. That's got to be another podcast. That's right, between rounds. Peace and love. Absolutely. That's when they had all the secret societies and whatnot, and they took that information, like you said, and they utilized it themselves. That's when they came up with forms of alchemy and so-called magic. This was science in ancient Kemet, spiritual science, like being able to ingest colloidal gold and meditate on such a high frequency that your body might lift off the ground. Imagine you were taught those things instead of the bookworm crap that we got. I'm talking about spiritual science. We would not, they wouldn't. How about medicine? All of these things came out of ancient Kemet and came from the African in ancient Kemet. They don't harp on that. We know there's a group that makes fun. The ancient Egyptians are black. The ancient Egyptians are black. But when you're bringing someone out of oppression, a former slave lineage, you got to start there. That's not anything to joke at, because you have to show the pride in the situation for a people like that was stripped of their names, stripped of their culture, stripped of their food, stripped of their land, stripped of their riches, stripped of their wisdom, stripped of the knowledge, stripped of just every single thing. But these are the ones that are in resistance and don't even know what they're talking about. Haven't studied enough. They might be a little learned, but you got to keep going. We wouldn't have, okay, I was talking to my daughter. My daughter's a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, right? My baby only 26. Get it? Yeah, absolutely. But she's just graduating in the field. But still, what did she have to take? Astrology. She ran into Kemet there. They told the truth at the college where it came from. She also had to take the study of ancient Egypt itself on the college bachelor level. They didn't play no games with it. The study of the mind, they went straight to Egypt. That's where the study of psychology came from. Okay, it's time to we gonna wake our people up for real, because that's just one point. But we got to elevate higher than that. Number one, the sun is gonna make us elevate. Some ain't gonna make it through this next solar cycle, because diet and all those things do count. And once you become conscious and elevating in your mind, you definitely be leaving all that bullish alone. So that comes with it, right? So the study of ancient Kemet comes with health, wealth, economic, psychological, medical. You get to know your body. You're sitting there, you listen to your doctor. He's telling you some bullish, trying to give you some bullish. And you telling him, no, this is that and that is this. Oh, pull up my blood work. Let me see. Well, no, my CDC panel says this, that, and the other. And you talking about, well, this is my kidney function and my thing. And they're looking at you like, and you know what they're saying. This ain't no regular. That's right. And then they start looking at the little jewelry and the little emblems and whatnot, and they go, whoa, she got the jet pillar. Oh, okay. When the doctor look at this little symbol right here, when the doctor look at that, they know. Because these symbols you learn when you in certain sciences, electrical, when you're dealing with electricity and frequencies and that science. you start to see the symbols because they still use the glyphs to today. There are no other, electrical symbols. They can't create no new ones. They got to use the glyphs. So ancient Egypt is in your face, all around your face, all day, every day. But if you're not studying continuously, you don't know that. And I mean, start from the beginning. Biology for Dummies 101, Chemistry for Dummies 101, psychology, all these different, you got to relearn. And the thing is, you got to be willing to teach yourself over here. That's where a lot of our foundational Black Americans, that's what separates the wheat from the tare. Who's willing to keep going in the learning? Because we know what we like. We Scarbarians, you know what we like. But you can be learning. There's a time and a place for everything, so they say. And when you study in ancient Kemet, you know that there's cycles and seasons for things. And when they come up, you know what they're for. Every hour, there's a planet on deck. Every hour, a planet is in tune, is tuning this whole entire situation. Just like the military time, right? There's an app called the planetary map, the planetary clock of the hours. I don't know if you can see this, but some would argue that the actions of man are controlled by the movement of the planets. Some would argue that. And when they come over here to argue that, well, burn their ass out the frame between rounds. Why? Because I studied the science and I know where to go get the information. And right now we're in the time of Jupiter. If I was a gambler, I'd have my ass up in somebody's casino during these hours. You got twice a day. What they said, a clock is always right twice a day. It's right all the time on the planetary clock, right? If you click on it, it tells you. It says Jupiter hour. What's up with the Jupiter hour? Jupiter is the ruling planet of Thursday. What? Did they know that? When you went to play your lotto, did you know it should be during the Jupiter hour on a Thursday? And all these things are science. Okay. You still got a little bit of what you call the question mark is still there. But if you hit all of the little, because there's a science to everything. If you were to go into it, you could probably figure it out. You got to be good at math. It got a lot of time, but I wouldn't doubt it because there's a system to everything. And that's why we have mathematics, right? It also says it rules people that are born under the sign of Sagittarius and Pisces. I've been watching that all my life. My husband's a Sagittarius. My sister's a Pisces. I've been watching them closely. I've been watching them during the Jupiter hour. I've been watching them doing different things. Just like a little scientist, taking my damn notes. I got so many journals. But you know what? Nobody can play with me. It's all good. I know what I need to do in life. I know how to get it. And I don't have to swindle you every day, all day to get what I need to get. So that's what separates me from others. Now, Jupiter is an auspicious planet of all. In astrology, Jupiter is related to faith, philosophy, earnings. Okay, this is your oppressor giving you information about your own science. That's not a good look, family. So when people are measuring up themselves, measure this, because this the real war up here. It might look physical, and let's just face it, they're gonna blow each other up. And if we had any sense, we'd let them handle their business. Because as an alchemist, I could sit back here and say how this thing's going to turn out. And would it be a prophecy, a prophetic? No, it's just observing cycles. Who's going to prove to be the biggest gorilla? One thing I do know, it's not about them. It's not about you. It's about them playing off the stage in Africa. Don't get it twisted. The entire planet wants Africa. It's the most valuable piece of real estate on the planet. World War III, they want that to take place in Africa. Taking over territories, why aren't they over there in England taking some of that land? Why aren't they getting rid of the Australians instead of the Hamas people? Why are they choosing them? Isn't there any oil in any of the other places around the world? Do they? Can they grow anything anywhere over there in Europe besides potatoes and carrots and shit that you got to dig down deep in the ground to get? So the whole entire race is for Africa. They're not trying to go over there and take. Come on. Russia's only taking Ukraine because that's an ego trip. That's a power struggle. Putin got his ass over there in Africa making friends with Ibrahim Traore. You know where he need to be when something happens and they need to feed the Russians. They want to be partners with the Africans. Why do you think China is over in Africa buying up land and telling the Africans get the hell off it? Are you kidding me? But they finally got somebody to speak some consciousness and some sense into them. And Ibrahim is trying to unite the African nations because he sees what their ending thing is. But I'm over here trying to talk to our FBAs to wake them up out of a slumber, because there ain't going to be no peace over here unless Ma'at is followed, right? And these are the universal laws. Not 10, there's 42. And as you can see, they can't even do the 10, and the world is going to shit because the other 32 are being ignored. Messing with the air, messing with the water. That's about to be a wrap. So here we go. Let me stick to the. That's why I took notes. All right. So now we're talking about the psychological warfare and whitewashing, right? And we said that the term Middle East was constructed. Let's get that straight. That's why I'm sticking to the notes, because I got fire up in my notes. Because I really took time to think about this. The term Middle East was created. We don't talk about that. Nobody talks about that. That is actually the end, the tips of Africa. It's still Africa. How about the maps? The maps were taken and created, changed, territory lines and whatnot. Because we know prior to 1947, Israel was not on that map. Look at a map from the 1930s. And since they've been over there and Israel is in Africa, it's on the other side of Egypt, how come their genetics hasn't changed and they haven't evolved into Africans as of yet? You can tell that is not their haploland. They did not come from there. There is not near piece of melanin in the skin. Now, if you look at the Iranians and the president of Iran and the president of Israel, if you put both of them side to side, I'll have to do it. They are the same man. One has a turban on his head. They are both Caucasian men. Someone needs to tell me, how did they both get there to even be over there trying to fight about anything or even defend themselves? Because if you wasn't there, you wouldn't have to defend yourself. And now that you are there, you got to explain how you got there. When we having these wars, how come these questions don't come up? Now, the term Middle East was constructed to separate Egypt from the African continent. Who did that? See, that's why I got to take my time, because each note is a bomb. Who did that? It wasn't the Africans. The Africans did not make that map. It was only done, the Middle East was only created to separate. Why just Egypt? Because they tried to teach the little kids in school that Egypt wasn't connected to Africa. You literally had to study the map to even see that. Many Black people in America feel Egypt isn't theirs because of the Eurocentric schooling. And here's a quote. He who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. That is the thinking of Mr. George Orwell. He be one of them ones trying to change stuff and control it. Just like they wrote that Willie Lynch letter and told you that it wasn't a plan. It was just a journal entry. I mean, the things that we let slide. Now, reclaiming, something tried to make me lose my spot, but I'm getting it back. Reclaiming the ancestral code. Let me take a sip of my little tea. How do we reclaim the ancestral code? Well, some of us have. We just blatantly said, get the fuck out my way. And I went and snatched my unk. And it was on ever since then. For me, it was 2011. 2011. And check this out. My consciousness, oh man, it is super miraculous. How does the shift? That's what happened. That's what I have to call it. It was a shift. It was a oh my gosh. Got all that Christian stuff. Got it in the garbage bag. Opened my door. Threw that shit out my front door. Because I was mad at first. Because I was like, how dare these Black ministers tell me lies? I almost was about to roll up on a couple of them. But I fell back. That whole thing fell apart, actually. But, yeah, you can't fool the little goddess. And when she found out who she was, there was no stopping her. There was no stopping me anyway, because I had already been through the Nation of Islam was first. Then I went through Christianity. And believe me, that all happened for a reason. I needed to study all that. And it was like I went through Judaism, because I stayed in that Old Testament for a hot minute. I couldn't believe some of the things in there. But the thing that really cracked the code is I used to work for the Catholics, and I used to work at their headquarters in the United States, and literally it was for the Vatican. Like I literally could say I worked for the Vatican because I worked for the headquarters here in the United States, right? And I used to say, why is the president going to Egypt all the time? Why is she going over there with the Catholics? Because the Bible, you let them tell it. Egypt is some terrible ass shit in that Bible, yo. Pharaoh got the people in slavery. He fucking with the Jews. He doing this and that. And all they got to do is take 40 paces to the right. They going over there in Israel. They didn't have no part, no Red Sea. They didn't have to have no staff. China with that little miracle they said that happened. That was a lie. That sea never parted a day after that, and it didn't part then. Because what happened then can happen now. I don't believe we evolved from no damn gorillas. Because why the gorillas in the zoo ain't becoming men now? Somebody say, Amin Ra. And why in all the major 3 religions, everybody is using the sun? Jesus, he stands in front of the sun. The mosque, they got the sun. That's a sun book. They don't know that that's a sun on it. Every temple got a window where the sun can come through. But every time you turn around, the people give the sun they ass to kiss. I don't understand it. Now, back to the notes, man. Every time I go up on my own, I go on a tangent. I got to stick to the notes. We talking about how can we reclaim our sense? Number 1, put the book down and study other books that decode that book. Because guess what? Newsflash, they got books that decode all in books. And there was 6 all them books in the Bible. There was 16 crucified saviors, not one. 16 crucified saviors. They all was born of a virgin. They all had Christmas was their birthday. And the whole story about this Jesus Christ, it happened 16 times. The book is on Amazon. I got it in my Kindle. It was one of the first ones I got. Oh, that one had me burning up. And so when I hear my people speak as if the Bible actually works and not their mind and communicating with their higher self and a couple of other damn things, I got to look at that sideways. But to each its own, because I have my own and I'm going to keep it. Now, let's stick to the notes. Reclaim the ancestral code. Kemet was a system of Ma'at. So the first thing is learn what is Ma'at. Ma'at is 42 things you shouldn't be doing if you think that you're a decent person. A lot of us walking around thinking that we're decent and we're not. Because there is a code to put yourself up against. Because it does matter in the end. That's a whole nother story. But it ain't the one you know. It's not that one. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to continue to keep coming back on this journey. Keep teaching what I know. What I know is truth. That's what I'm going to keep coming on here doing. And that's how we break the matrix. That's how the tables get turned. The more you get to know yourself and connect with the truth, the matrix can't do nothing with that. And I tell you the truth, they talk all this crap about AI, but AI is telling the truth about their asses and their oppressive psychology. It's not biting its tongue at all. They'll start to mess with that soon, but I don't think that they can. Wow. So, and another thing, the technology that we have now is basic. We trying to get to where they already was. Whenever you can circumnavigate all these planets in the solar system and take your ass wherever you want to go and chill and transfer your consciousness in another avatar and this and this and that, you basic. And you still need to learn. Because these are the things our ancestors are doing to this day. You'll look at a baby. Oh, that baby look like an old man. You know not what you say, but you know something because you said it. Well, when you get into these teachings about ancient Kemet and your ancestors, and that can simply be those that came before you. They don't got to be part of your bloodline. Everybody that you connect with, other FBAs, they don't have to be part of your bloodline, but it's still one blood. And it was still one blood all the way back to the first dynasty of ancient Kemet. We still rocking that. Because as far as I'm concerned, I can claim whatever culture I like in Africa. If I fall in tune with that frequency, I can claim that. I'm not trying to go over there in Jamaica and claim that. I'm not trying to go no damn where else and claim that because I don't connect with that. Even though I do have that in my family, but it's through marriage, but it's all good. It's still one blood. But, you know, when you got people over in Jamaica, the Rastafarians, they ran into Kemet. There was nothing they could do but embrace it. So many of the Rastas, they know what time it is. And when they found out, they had to put that Bible down. Muda Baruka, that's my boy from way back. Teaching some of the truth is out here. It's out here. It's just that where is your consciousness? And everybody's on their level. But there's other levels to get to. Right? We never stop rising. What did Dougie Fresh say? He said, keep rising to the top. You know what I'm saying? Give it all you got. And when you do that, you're going to run right into ancient Kemet. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Boom. Another thing, I got to touch on this right quick. Let's talk about this indigenous people that didn't go through slavery and they was here in the Americas. Let's deal with that. I'm going to have to share my screen because I'm going to have to show you something right quick. All right. Let's do this. Simple, just something simple. I'm just going to drop the seed and let's see what happens. Oops. Now, can y'all see these images? We have the goddess Ma'at. Now, just in case you didn't know, these wings are made of feathers. Okay? Where's my thing? Because I'm hearing gunshots and all. Hold on a second. No, hell no. I asked this and I'm gonna leave it alone. But I'm gonna do it proper like. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Y'all Indian, right? Y'all got the feathers in this, y'all chief this and that, eagle head and chief this, that, and that, and this, and on the land, and y'all doing the crip walk, and that's actually the movement across the land with the started in Egypt. You see these? The symbol of Ma'at is a single feather, that this feather weighs on a scale on side of your heart, and your heart better be found to be light as a in that afterlife. If you think you crossing over to the Duat, the home of the ants, oh, they keep teaching you about another place, but your black ass got to worry about another place. We circumnavigated the taught a lot of things. How do you think Tahuti got inside of in Mexico? How do you think Tahuti's face got caved and could never off? Got carved inside of a cave in Mexico. How do you think that happened if they wasn't traveling? They did travel with people in India. Come on, even they said Jesus went to damn India. This when his ass went to India and learned with the yogis and this and that. When he left Egypt, after he didn't even need to go there to learn a damn thing because he learned all of this in Egypt. That's where the Indians got it from, but they took it to a different level with their cultural spin on it, and they got their gods and goddesses as well. Duh. But you can attribute these darn feathers to all you Aboriginal talking about you some Indian, and this is where you was at. Okay, now you was told. Now you take that and go study. Take that and go run with it. Let me see something. Let me just see something. Let me just see something. Let me just see something. Hold on. I'm cracking the code, so y'all got to hang with me. Sister bad. I don't be playing. I crack codes. Let's see. Let me see. Oh my God, it's getting there. Let me see. Okay. Boom. Let's take the time. I'm going to share this with you. Off the chain. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Powerful. The feathers of Ma'at in the indigenous tribes of the Americas, a shared spiritual legacy. Many indigenous peoples of the Americas wear feathers in sacred ceremony, leadership, regalia, and healing rituals, just like the feather of Ma'at worn by ancient Kemetic priests, scribes, and divine judges. These feathers weren't just decoration. They were symbols of truth, clarity, alignment, and divine law. Some claim Native Americans are not descendants of Kemet. We talking about you blacks in America who say you are indigenous Native Americans. These are the some we speaking about. Yet their spiritual practices, cosmologies, and even regalia mirror Kemetic principles in ways that are too aligned to be coincidence. Because the connection isn't always linear. Hold on to your seats because this gonna rock your mind. It's cosmic. The connection is where's my doggone thing? Y'all playing with me. We getting, oh man, we lighting them up. We lighting them up. Let's go. That's right. It's not linear, it's cosmic. Both Kemet and many indigenous nations track time with the stars. Oh man, why they want to call me now? I'm gonna hit you back. Hold on, let me hit you back. Hold on, let me hit you right back. That's my people's in NYC. Hold on. I'm live, Queen. I'm gonna call you right back as soon as I get off. Peace. Did it say I'm live? I know I'm alive. Why did things say I'm alive? Lord have mercy. Child. Oh, voice thing. I'll never do right. Okay. Now, where was we? It said, I'm glad I wasn't live on my phone. I would have got kicked off. Now, some claim Native Americans are not descendants of Kemet, yet their spiritual practice and cosmologies mirror, and they are not a coincidence. So, how did they both end up with feather-based spiritual systems? We said it was cosmic, right? Both Kemet and many indigenous nations track time with the stars. We know the doggone did. And so we knew y'all wasn't over here just going and looking up at the sky. Y'all was looking at the stars too. The same ones. Both use feathers to symbolize communication with spirit, balance of the natural world, and divine wisdom. Both honored Mother Earth, Sky Father, and the elemental forces through ceremony. But that Bible had told y'all, don't be doing none of that. And that is far from the truth. It's so far, it's as far as the east is from the west. That's how they were leading y'all. And some of you like to be there, and you're still stuck there on purpose now. Let's see. That's right. These are not separate traditions. They are branches from the same original spiritual science. It don't say religion. There was no religion. There was science, practices, and ceremonies and special days. Right? That's right. They are not separate traditions. They are branches from the same original spiritual science scattered across the earth. It don't say scattered from Egypt over to the America. It said scattered across the earth. How does that happen unless one can travel earthly, can travel around the earth and off of it if they need to? Oh, you just don't know just how powerful you are. You ready to stay stuck down here? Scattered across the earth after cataclysms, migration, and what? What? What'd that say? Pay attention. Divine instruction. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Can I spin? Oh, I don't want to bump into my... I gotta spin back around. Oh my goodness. Yeah, explain that one. Okay. It said, how did it get scattered? Divine instruction. That meant somebody put a word and it went forth and it did what they told it to do. And you know who that was? The Lord Tahuti. That's who he was. A bad mama. Oh my goodness. When they say the black man is God, boy, what a statement. What a true statement. Wow. When I first heard that for the first time, it was something. But then I heard the black woman was God. And that was even something more. Now, some of the Kemetic priesthood may have traveled west across the waters because they had boats. They had made Noah's Ark. It was an extravagant boat, but it wasn't called an ark, and Noah didn't build it. It has already been found. They've been found that doggone boat. Now, matter of fact, that ship. So, long before, there's stories in the ancient Egyptian books. Their stories, kind of like, you got your Bible stories, but they had their stories first. Fire, y'all. Fire. Make that Bible just burn up in flames. Them ain't no stories. That's a bunch of bull-ish up in there. Now, not even written all that good. Like, it's not even, it's definitely on some Shakespearean, writing a damn Harry Potter scene. Go back and read it again. And read it from front to back one more time. After this podcast, go back and read that book again. Oh, man. Let me see. Long before colonization, carrying the codes of Ma'at into the Americas. Back that up. Some of the ancient Kemetic priesthood traveled west across the waters long before colonization, carrying the codes of Ma'at into the Americas. Others say the feathered wisdom came from a shared Atlantean pre-dynastic origin that seeded spiritual knowledge around the globe. So whether you call her Ma'at or speak to the Great Spirit, the feather reminds us of one thing. Truth is the light, and those who live by it will always rise. So that tells me there's a lot of mofos going down. You understand? I'm only dealing with the truth here. Like, either it didn't say that the falsehood would make you rise. It said truth is the light, and those who live by it will always rise. Well, I don't know about you. I'm definitely going to be counted in that number. I used to say I was counted in another number, but I have all the authority to subtract and add and divide wherever I see fit in my life with no remorse. Right? Okay. So that's that. Now let's get back up here. Boom, 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 boom. Because we're restoring. We're restoring now. It's called spiritual amnesia by design. If foundational Black Americans are indeed descendants of the lost tribe of Shabazz, a group with divine origin, high science, and spiritual mastery, that's what they called the lost tribe of Kemet, right? Because Malcolm, when he went to Kemet and his eyes got open, he came back here to get rid of all that. They killed him. I don't care about the story about what they said it was and all this bull crap. Those of us who walk by the Spirit, we know what happened. Because when we found out, we felt like we became targets too. Because when we found out, we said, oh, yeah, watch yourself. Because now, what they call it, you a weapon of mass destruction now. Them other niggers, they not they don't put nobody in no danger. They got a jail cell waiting for that ass. The scientists, we ain't trying to go. It wasn't no prisons in Kemet. Because those that walk by the light gonna rise by it. Now, right? Because then colonialism, slavery, and psychological warfare weren't just tools of economic gain. They were used to wipe your memory clean, sever your spiritual roots, and disconnect us from the source code of our power, which is Ma'at in ancient Kemet, through cosmic law. Not what the you heard. Cosmic laws. That's a whole nother thing. Somebody on the planet was that of a threat. They were threatened of a people when they said, no matter what, we can't let you figure out who you are. That's why they got y'all rappers in dresses. The men got on man units looking crazy like Busta Rhymes. The women, beautiful little Kim, she surgeried herself up, and just the state of Black America. P. Diddy, he's in the skitty mitty, and he's not looking pretty. Take that. And your Tyler Perry, and he's after Man Boutte, and they're not going to stop until they strip you of all those pieces of paper that they created for themselves in order to oppress you economically. It's a war on the Black man in America that's got a couple dollars in his pocket. Can't you see that? They won't stop till you're all broke. Someone even said they saw them trying to throw us back in slavery. Well, they might try that with the niggers if they haven't risen up to the truth as of yet. That's a possibility. But I know you don't believe it, so I'm not going to waste my time telling you about the Great Rescue. But anyways, to control a people, you must first rob them of their memory. Sir John Henry Clark. I think they did a good job of that. Religious interference. Look at how they used all of the musical entertainers. That was one group of people. That was the Jews that used my people for their talent, and they still continue to do it today. And their mastery is having the men wear dresses and talk about killing each other and selling drugs, and then they take insurance policies out on them. Then they go hire somebody from the hood to go and kill them. That's what I think. That's what the Kemetic mind thinks. And we know the plan of the enemy. We're not worried about it. The word conspiracy. There isn't one when you can conspire to keep a nation down. It's not the black person all over the planet. It is the foundational Black American that has had war waged on it ever since it got here. And I'm saying it because I feel like I'm speaking on a level of a goddess, a creator. What is that? It is what I created. I created it. So right now, that is it. Religious interference also hijacked your frequency. That's what happened. Your frequency got hijacked. And what that looks like in a 3D term, you got religious interference. Your spiritual frequency is hijacked if you still in that frame of mind. So not that you was hijacked. You is hijacked, family. If you still in that frequency frame of mind, you are still operating in a hijacked, oppressed consciousness. And I love you. That's real love. Some say they love you, but they feed you bullshit. I can't get with that. To each his own. But when I'm talking about the truth, that's what I'm going to have to say. It's called game. I used to have game. That's another podcast and some more other stories. But yeah, I've had my time in the gorilla pen. See, I'm a scorpion, if you can't tell that as of yet, and you didn't see the little black diamond one right there. It don't gotta be big and all that. It is what it is, though. See, that's what we do. We build and we destroy. So it's nothing for me in this lifetime to roll through religion to see what it really is. Because it's really all about cracking the code of the bullshit. Because we know the bullshit's there. We just gotta find it. That is the plight. The investigator. I'm so lucky to be me. And now I'm sharing my wisdom and knowledge with you. Because I took an oath. And I told the goddess, if you get behind me, the one that I resonate with, because everybody should find whatever god or goddess they really resonate with in ancient Kemet, because there is one for everyone. That's why you got a million Tahooties and this and that, but there's very few Sirkets. Oh, no. You got to be a certain person, certain kind of bloodline to be a Sirket. And so when she revealed herself to me in the way that she did, now that I know she's been there all along, all right? I've always had this voice that spoke to me, that kept me from danger. Like one time, I was standing under this awning. I was in New York, and I was standing under this awning, and I was smoking a cigarette, doing some shit I had no business doing. And it was raining cats and dogs, and it was just coming down on this awning. And I'm out there, and I'm like taking it. I'm like, I love the sound of rain. I'm a water sign, the sun. We're in the sun hour now. And so Yes, the sun is still shining even though it's about to be dark. hmm And there's a story behind that too. But the voice said, you better jump 10 paces to your left. That awning's going to crash. And I had no time to debate the thought. I knew, jump my ass off of there. That's what I did. It came crashing down. I wouldn't even been here today to even tell the story. That's how heavy it would have crushed me all the way down. It was about 700 pounds, the awning that fell off of this old ass colonial house. I said, damn, I'm like glad to be alive, but my family would have been straight for life because they damn sure would have sued and owned everything that day. But it wasn't my time. And it was just another time to recognize the voice. So subtle, but so strong. It saved my life many a times. And it's also helped me save others' lives sometimes. If they would listen, if they would listen. I can say if one would have listened to me, a thing that happened to them wouldn't have happened. I remember a conversation. I've always had that. And I know that I have this extra spiritual like protection. It's all good. Some people have it, but they have to control it and use it for compassion and love and stuff like that. And that's what I try to do. So like I say, I'm here to share my knowledge and wisdom, but I do receive my blessings elsewhere. And maybe one day they'll come from here. I mean, don't get me wrong. Send me a dang donation because we at war over here too. But it's not something I can keep speaking about every couple of minutes. It's just my life, to each his own. Back to this hijacked frequency. Many DNAs were taught, many FBAs were taught that Kemet was evil, while Christianity, especially in its European form, was salvation. But the irony is the 10 Commandments come from the 42 laws of Ma'at. Mary and Auset, which are the mothers of each religion, I don't like to call the Kemetic thing a religion, that's by freak of nature or whatever, but it's literally a science. But Mary and Auset, they share deep symbolic parallels. Because Auset was first. And she was actually the first immaculate conception. That's how Mary had one. Mary wouldn't have had no immaculate conception if Auset didn't have one first. Christ consciousness echoes the Osirian resurrection cycle. So they reject Kemet thinking it's other, but in truth, they're already walking in it, just renamed, rebranded, and whitewashed, and literally changed, and some lies added in there also. Number 3, cognitive dissidence and painful truths. We're going back to the spiritual amnesia by design. Now it's cognitive dissonance and painful truths. To embrace Kemet, FBAs would have to admit a couple of things. And we know the egos of some FBAs. It's all they have, and it's a big one. They would have to admit that we were gods and goddesses before slavery. Yeah, it's painful, and you like, how do you go from a god in slavery? Well, resistance. We had complex science. We would have to admit we had complex science, medicine, governance, and ethics before slavery. And we would have to admit that we were targeted precisely because of that greatness. And it's the reason why you can't get reparations, because you're showing them in their face that you cognitive dissonance by saying, "Well, don't nobody don't owe you." How about you take it and give it to your kid and let them get the education they really want? You don't want it, but you can get it. Make sure you, when you get it, you give it to someone else. Just give it away if you don't want it. We're gonna you're gonna give it away, because we're gonna get reparations one way or the other. Either destruction will come and claim everything, the land, the money, the water, their asses and everything. Or at some point, they're going to wisen up just a little fast to bring it destruction. It's going to be an event. Anyways, when you're targeted precisely because of your greatness, that's an atrocity. And atrocities got to get paid for. In these little earthly wars or whatever that they can construct on their own is nothing compared to what they're going to receive. And I'm going to share something at the end of this video. And I was wondering when I was going to share it. But I have a special surprise. If you make it to the end, you're going to see this. And I just want you to know. The truth is heavy. It's easier for some to believe that we were always victims than to accept that we were once rulers, because the fall hurts too much to remember. It was, according to the Nation of Islam, the Tribe of Shabazz is the oldest Black nation. They were survivors of a cataclysm who migrated to the Nile Valley and gave rise to Kemet. So even the Nation of Islam has a version of us coming out of Kemet. But it is only the basic foundational Black American, including the ones that say they were indigenous and not part of a slave trade. We'll have to include those as well. It is the lost tribe. But go on to say, we are spiritually engineered with encoded brilliance, royal responsibility, and an ancient contract to restore balance on earth. Listen here. If this nation doesn't get their consciousness together, listen, you are the oldest beings on the planet. It's literally your responsibility to restore balance on the earth. And you can't do it telling lies. And it goes against restoring the balance. Why can't we embrace this? We already know it's true. And in that, you know, all of the spiritual questions that you might have, there are answers available. Like, is there a heaven? A heaven? Is it just one? Uh, how about this hell question? Is there? What did the ancients say about it? I'm challenging you to go find out. How about you go find out and you come tell me? I already know. But I refuse. I spent thousands of dollars and oh man, I put in my work through those years. My library is impeccable. Hours and hours of Bobby Hemmett. I mean, hours and hours. I got my Brother Panic. I got my John Henry Clark. I got my Sarah Susan Seti. I got my books. I got my sciences, my apps, my elements. Because you got to get your hands on that gold. You ain't no real Kemite if you don't got the gold. And I'm not talking about the one on your neck. Come on now. People running around here with major, massive memory loss, worms on the brain and such. They didn't play that. They didn't play that. Boom. I got my alchemy right here. We don't play that. I got some alchemy right here that I take for my own self. You understand? You see what that says? What that say? You're a real Kemite. You're not a Kemite unless you're messing with the elements, right? To be on this, to raise your frequency, because you got so much pulling your frequency down. You have to work on restoring your frequency physically, and it's not just through the food. Y'all got to get some elements up in you. Y'all messing with heavy metals out the sky. It is so tainting your skin organ. Don't get caught in the rain. Some of you got the jib jab juice up in you. That's breaking you down. You definitely need the potions. Back in the day, they called this magic. This is potions. This is alchemy. They are elixirs, herbal elixirs. This is more than that. But it is to restore your memory clarity. Don't you know the big A, the one that takes your memory, you can get rid of it. It starts with parasites and not cleansing your brain. You can lose your memory. If it were me, I'd have a pen and I'd be reading. I would click that and I would pause it and I would write down the ingredients and study them. But you got to be an investigator, a scholar, and whatnot to have that type of drive for knowledge. It's not something that happens every day, especially not the way I have it, y'all. But that's why I don't hoard it, and I'm here to share. But I had to get over my anger. Sometimes I like to choke the shit out of people when they coming around with that ignorant ass crap, yo. Colloidal gold, colloidal platinum. They might kick me off of here for this. Colloidal palladium, rhodiola rosea, ginkgo biloba, and that blue lotus extract.
Very good. I definitely, because I was starting to feel sluggish in my mind too, because I'm sharp. And I said, no, these chemtrails won't. Oh, no, these chemtrails won't, honey. Hold it under your tongue. Hold it under your tongue. The elements, you hold them under here. And then you swallow them. A 21-day regimen. Couple drops in the morning. Go on your day. You're going to feel the sharpness. You're going to feel the neurons. Pew, pew, pew. Yo, you're going to be on your way out the door about to forget something. This time, you're going to stop before you get too far away. And you're going to remember what you lost. That type of repair. Listen, I don't care. We're going to talk. We done with this Kemet. I'm going to give you a final thought. And then I'm going to tell you something. Excuse me. My dry hands are staying in water. I'm working on conditioning my hands now, but I stay creating stuff so much, and you gotta wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Yes. But honey, I'm more worried about my mental state and my physical state on the inside. My mother was beautiful. I come from beautiful women. So I continue to maintain my beauty. That's not my concern, though. Because beauty is skin deep and it radiates when you're intelligent, number one, respectful of yourself. You act like what you are. You are who you are. And so you radiate. Final thought. You're not just descendants of slaves. You are descendants of solar priests. They didn't say religious priests. There's no such thing. There's only solar priests who download from the cosmos what thou needs to know and what everyone else needs to know as well. We're downloading all spiritual code in hieroglyphs through the sun. That's why they're trying to block it. It ain't all about their skin breaking down, because they could create some kind of miracle ass cream, slap it on their asses. It's about stopping you from your crown awakening. Oh, the grid could go down. Iran might strike the grid. Not before the sun tap it. And tap that ass over there in Iran too. Oh, if Ra wanted to shut it all down, it just might. It's coming very close to that time where he, she is going to shut it down. The sun is both masculine and feminine. So she. The sun actually created Ma'at to keep it in order. You're God, and you create a being to keep you in order. That's how much check you got. As if you could fail, and there is no way. But just in case, there is a cosmic law keeper. Wasn't that quite thoughtful? You are descendants of solar priests. You are pyramid builders. You are cosmic scientists, not just earthly and medical. Do you know the ones who fashioned, that story about God creating the body on the wheel and how he wove it and whatnot? That story actually came from ancient Kemet. Go use AI. Tell it to find it for you. It's out there. The jewels that I'm dropping, take notes, go research. I'm not going to be here with a long drawn out PowerPoint, this, that, and that, and the other, because that takes you out of doing the work. So since you like to believe stuff so much, then believe what I say. And if you don't, go study it. But we're also the cosmic lawgivers. You were the lawgivers. Now you're the law keepers. And you're not doing a very good job of it because all of you fill up the prisons. So that's not a place for you. You're supposed to be somewhere creating laws for other people to go by. But until you remember who you are, you will keep mistaking your inheritance for someone else's religion. Yeah. Until you remember who you are, you will be taking someone else to your inheritance. You will be mistaking it as someone else's religion. It's meant to do just that. So you can patch up the wound by finding out the information, adjusting lifestyles, equipping yourself to be stronger. Google, if I wanted to follow the Kemetic culture from ancient Egypt, what books should I read first? Use the Google, the damn cell phone, for what it's for. Stop using it for dumb shit. How much is this and that over there? And to cause problems and whatever y'all be using your phones for. Up to no good. How about that? When you're up to no good. Oh, the name of the app is called the Planetary Clock. There's only one. I actually hit the number last week by using my planetary times. I played it during the Jupiter hour. It was like a full moon, you know what I'm saying? It was on an evening. It was on a Tuesday, my special day and whatnot. And I played my lucky numbers and whatnot. And honey, it had fell out. I said, oh, the light bulb, let me go get my journal. Once again, the Kemetic science is paying off. Man, in the past 4 years, yes, every success, I feel like, man, when I got the knowledge, man, I just exploded, man. I just exploded. I started making my own organic products. I just was waking up knowing about essential oils. I learned how to identify herbs. I got all the herb combination. I'm a bad mother. I'm a straight scientist, a straight Kemite. Uncle Johnson, Dwa Serket Sekmet and Ptah Hotep Imhotep, the father of medicine, in which the Hippocratic Oath is actually about. But they say it's Heraclitus or whoever, Greek or Rome. Are you kidding me? You know this place got the rock and roll. This place got the rock and roll because the gods and goddesses is returned. It's about to be on, son. You think it's a war. It's about to be. The spiritual war is on and popping. Yeah. Boy, let me tell you. They got some people hearts and minds caught up. And when your heart and mind caught up, like being so far into a religion that you would actually blow yourself up for it. Like, what? Yo, when I heard that, I was like, yo, man, the people got to wake up. It ain't just our people that got to wake up, the whole entire planet. Because if you can destroy the planet with your crap, you need to wake up. Because that was one of the reasons why ancient Kemet opened up to all you fucking different ass races. Rome, Greece, Middle East over there now. That's the reason why they opened up to y'all. Because they said if we don't open up to try to educate these fools, they're going to destroy the damn world. They wasn't worried about us destroying it. We're earth people, nature people. We wasn't going to destroy a damn thing. We were the ones out there harvesting the cotton and the this and the that. What are you talking about? What the helly? Man, that's wow. Things got so misconstrued and so screwed up from the truth. The entire planet needs to get back to Ma'at to save it now. Or to save your ass on it, because the planet's going to be fine. It's just going to take its time and rejuvenate itself. But I'm talking about your ass on the planet. If you like to be saved, your children and your children's children, because I would love to see my grandchildren survive. You up here. That's crazy. Don't tell lies and you got children out here? Nah. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. In the next show, we will be talking about the Ifa tradition and the Orishas. They're not demons. We're going to do the education part over here. But if you play with something that you don't know what you're playing with, because you can even get your ass tagged up in ancient Kemet. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do and you're trying to some foolio, I don't care what spiritual tradition you follow, you can tangle your ass up in that one too. Each tradition, don't let me tell you, they got some spook shit with that Bible, so don't play yourself with that, because you can curse yourself with that too. Talking about some old Rishas. That Bible is already a curse, especially if you saying your ass believe in it. Because I'm going to have to say this. God's name is not Jehovah. Not at all. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you. Ooh, I've been sitting in that chair so long. I had a damn, what you call it? I was sitting in the chair so long, I had a crook. But hold the hell up. Go in my damn library right quick, child. Where's my book? I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. Hold on. You stay right there. It's just one book cover that I want to show you right quick. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back, y'all. Hold on. It's the book right here. The Egyptian origin of the book of Revelation. Now, this is Tahuti, and who they called Thoth, who was an Atlantean, but he was the one that came and laid the foundation to create Kemet in Egypt. There's a whole big story before this, and I'm going to show you that book too. Let's just go ahead. This is the goddess Seshat, the great recorder, daughter of Ma'at. She also was recording with Tahuti. They are the reason why we had libraries and libraries and libraries. Yeah, incense fell on my book, but look how it didn't even burn. Like it burned, but it didn't. I was saved by the gods. Look. Woo! That is some of the blessings and miracles. I've seen many miracles, y'all. Many crazy, like we'll talk about these later. This is some ancient technology that came from Kemet, but it's spiritual technology. These are like crystal. This is crystal and copper, but it's more than that. Fire. I'll teach you about that. That's another show. But that's what you run into. Healing tools and techniques and what they created yoga. The Egyptians created yoga. Ciao. Everything. The Egyptians created Reiki, the science of moving energy to heal others. What? Okay, wait, hold up. Let me just pull this out. See the statue? Let me show you now. You see that stance that Anu is in over the Pharaoh god? He's stabilizing his energy. This is called Reiki. This is Reiki. All the way back then. Don't play with me. Ain't nobody else invented a goddamn thing. It all came from Kemet, and I can prove it. Anybody step up. Cha! Because I'm not playing. My people need to know the truth. I will not let any of you defeat me in front of my people because you can't defeat the truth. Shutting it down, all of it. So, yeah. Anybody talking about raising the dead? He did it first. Nobody else did it. That was some bullshit. Now, that was the straight lie because he didn't even know how. But the story goes, Mary had to flee. And so this supposed Jesus, which there was no J, so whatever. His name definitely wasn't Yahweh, and it wasn't Jehovah. Those all have other origins. So she had to flee into Egypt and have her baby and whatnot. And so Jesus was raised in Egypt. So he had to resemble the people's complexion to even not stand out there and be found and noticed by the Jews. When they came over there, they was looking for that Jesus. Pharaoh said, nah, you're not going to do that over here. I'll imprison you first. So that's how they got their ass over there, talking about they were slaves. No, y'all was trying to kill somebody. Just like you trying to go into the land and do that, what you did to the Hamas. You thought you was going to take your ass in Egypt all the way back then, and you mad because you want to go into Egypt now to get into the airspace. You think you're slick. Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm breaking it down from then to now about these J people on the planet causing havoc way back then. And finally, in 1947, the United States got tired of them crying, and some of them were Zionists over there too. And they went and called a United Nations meeting. Didn't call none of the African nations, called the European nations. And that's how Israel got given to the Ukrainian goddamn people that's over there in Israel. Take this channel and shove it up your ass. I'm going to tell the truth. And I have the protection of the ones that created the algorithm, and they made it, and they will take it back. Don't play with me, because your whole YouTube will get shut the hell down. You're not too big for that. We're going to tell the people the truth. People like to speak about terms called demon. Demonology was created by King James. It was the first book he wrote. God damn it. It wasn't the Bible. He had something in mind when he wrote that. Now, here it is. Where's my damn Kindle? Mm-hmm. Phone about to go down, but I'm going to find this book for you. There you go. The original book has a black man on top of a white woman. I got it in my Kindle. God damn it, I'm going to find it. Stop playing with me. Breaking you down. She loved plush fabric. You damn right I do. Sure enough. I've been singing that song all day. I wake up. She loved plush fabric, because I do. Damn sure do. Let me see. Where the cover? Hey. Come on. Trying to get the cover big for you. Tell me that's not the black man on top of this white woman. What'd that say? King James the First. This your Bible writer. Before he got the project to write the Bible, because I'm writing one too. He ain't no damn body. You can write one too. Demonology by King James the First.
You see that black man on top of this white woman? Your ass been the demon. They tried to say that you was the demon. But the only demon I know is in the white skin. He's the only demon I know in my life. Just the most treacherous mofo. So when you're talking about spiritual demons, you need to cut the bullshit. Because I ain't seeing nothing but this one here. Yep. I don't know what shadows and all of that shit look like too. But the demon that I know tells lies to my people, and his ass sitting on top of this white woman right here. That's what they tried to make you understand was the demon. And you see what he wants? You see the white man there? No, it's the woman. Emmett Till, and to this day. He was the one they chose to write that Bible. And in that Genesis, when it says in the beginning, so and so and so and so, let us This book right here shows you where those are his words. The God of your Bible is Tahuti. All of the proof is here. And they tell you where they took it from in Kemet. Do you see how thick this shit is? This is just for the book of Revelations. Breaking down. This is fire. You know how long it took me to... You talk about spending that time getting this motherfucking work. Y'all talking about shadow work and all this bullshit. When you're a fucked up person on the inside, your spirit reflects that, and then everything that comes out of your mouth is effed up too. It's just that you're around other effed up people and they never tell you about your damn self. Because it's possible to be around a whole slew. Everybody you meet in one day might be ignorant as fuck. You might not run into one enlightened person in a real long time. It could be a real long time period where you might not run into nobody who's enlightened. And then what? Your ass better be catching them codes and downloads from that sun to make your changes in your transition in life, because you're dead in your damn self. Number one, you be running from the sun like the people that actually need to run from it. They got you putting on damn sunscreen too. I mean, yeah, the sun is hot enough to burn us all, but we definitely got some hours. Some mad hours out there. Just keep moving and get you some water. You be good. It's just like you out there in the field picking cotton, and it's the worst thing ever. But you start singing. They didn't understand that. They said, oh, you want to sing? Oh, you got the nerve to sing real good. Oh, you got the nerve to have a soul. You're talking about demonic. Now listen. It just so happens that they try to say, let me see what you say. Yeah. yes. Between rounds. Hell yeah. I love that song. Super fire. Yes.
Dang, I forgot what I was about to say because all I'm thinking is she loved plush fabric. And this podcast is about to be OV because we finna go to Sub-Zero land. Because on an ordinary day, I keep myself level to the ground because I'm a Scarbarian, because I'm a New Yorker. And it doesn't matter where you're from, but I'm from the BX. I totally relate. I love me some Sub-Zero and Rosie. Their time is their time to elevate the spiritualness. But until then, we be over here at war. But at 10:15, I'm going to see the Sub-Zero show. Sub-Zero, I love you. Your show is dynamic. It's freaking awesome. It does wake our people up. And I wish you nothing but the best. And this podcast is about to end right with our ending closing. Hold on. Yes. I'm literally trying to find a beat that won't get copyrighted so I can lay down my little couple of tracks. We gonna Kemeticize some tracks, and I'm looking for a beat. So if y'all know somebody, let me know. I got a couple of bars. Hey, what's going on here? Okay. Closing prayer. It's all good. Our people have every excuse to be on whatever level they're on. But this is for the conscious folks, because they have to talk about whole teppers and no teppers and this and that and turning people, running them away from the truth. But every time you turn around, they got an unk. I ain't really feeling that. And it matters. I'm a goddess on the planet. It matters what I think. Let me see. The closing. Come on. Whoop. I don't think I'm supposed to pass this. The awakening is now. Final word. You are not lost. You are returning. You are not a Christian. You are not Black. You are Kemet reborn with a mission to restore Ma'at on earth. And no one can stop what's encoded in your soul. I know that's right. They sure can't stop what's encoded over here. That's why they didn't want you to find out. Because you might be so Black and so damn strong. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they did not want you to find out. Us. I do mean us. A call to action. If this episode stirred something in you, don't reject it. Explore it. Question it. That's how healing begins. And if you're ready to embrace ancient Egypt as the spiritual technology it truly is, you're in the right place. Join me again for our next podcast with more truth and fire. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Seshat Heka Ma'at show. And let's keep restoring Ma'at in a world full of Isfet. Isfet. It's the opposite of harmony. It's utter chaos. The Isfet. That's the new word. Instead of bullish, we can say Isfet.
And that's another thing. This week, I'm learning new Medu words. And I'll be sharing those. So our closing prayer in Medu is, that is the original language, y'all. Medu. That's it. Dua ma'at. Ma karu en nebu. Sheri em hekau. Sir ket hekai in shata. Translation. Praise to Ma'at. True of voice are all who speak. Study sacred words. Serket reveals the hidden wisdom. Otet. Yes. Hotep to everyone. Don't forget, get this. But for starters, oh yeah, because that book of Revelations in that Bible is coded in the 7 candlesticks and this and that and da 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 da. They not telling you that it's a returning in the ships. Ain't nobody coming down here floating with no robe on, with no damn sandals. Anybody coming from out of this atmosphere back here is gonna be coming in a vehicle, or his ass is gonna be in flames. Boy, oh boy. Peace and love, y'all. I think that's a good exit. That's a good exit. Peace out. Thank you, Between Rounds. Much love. Thank you so much.